It's time.
We're back.
Hello.
Hey, guys.
All right. So if you are just now tuning in, welcome to the Chris and Memes podcast. And if you missed our intro, we'll give you the top 5 things that you missed from our first podcast episode. Number 1.
Uno.
We said and like 50 times.
So you missed that.
What you missed was a lot of knows and a lot of ums. And with the knows and the ums, it gets some deep stuff gets into it, Yeah.
But I'm thumb.
All right. And number 2 is you missed the name of the podcast, which is the Chris and Memes podcast.
It's the Chris and Memes podcast.
Yes.
I don't know why she's talking so much.
Where beautiful chocolate meets basic vanilla.
Oh,
no, I'm just kidding.
Here we go. And this is the reason why we did the podcast, to prevent things like that. The downplaying of others.
Okay, Chris, get to number 3 then. That's a great.
Which brings us to number 3 of what we talked about. I just touched the mic. What we talked about was, shame.
Yes.
Oh, were you talking about that? You were talking about that.
I actually wasn't talking about that.
Yeah, we didn't really get into it. But
number 3 was just why we're doing this podcast.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I was saying.
When you
Yep. Why we're doing this podcast is to promote just sisterhood, friendship, togetherness, goodness in the world. We talked about how women have a tendency to tear each other down, but we're kind of moving into this new movement where we're uplifting. And so we want to keep that same energy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Number 4.
Yep. Okay. Wow. Just skip over me. Why don't you?
It's okay.
Number 4. We introduced the team behind the mics, which is Cook and Jang from Cashmere Rugs.
They don't care for that anymore. So we should probably stop it because we're getting a lot of commentary.
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
whatever.
Number 5 was you missed our wonderful blossoming personalities.
Yeah, where we introduced our lovely selves and what we do.
And who we are.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That was the thing that I really I feel like it's so important is not to talk about so much about what you do, but who you are as a person. Because I feel like a lot of people, they just want to know, okay, how are you doing? What do you do for a living? And things like that.
Right. Isn't that weird though? Most times when people are like, oh, what do you do? And it's like, I do everything. What do you want?
Right. I be feeling weird, especially in this season. I feel like I just be like, I don't know how to answer that question no more, especially because I'm done with school. Right. So it's in school I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to school for social work and blah, blah, blah. So you kind of feel like you have to be doing something, and that's how you explain what you do. And if it's not school or work, then you kind of, because I'm not doing neither right now.
Yep, low-key.
But we'll talk about that later. So it's you kind of feel for me, that brings up shame again, where you kind of feel damn, I'm not, oh, darn. I'm not.
Here she go. She's so scared. You said,
I'm
damn.
Not.
That's what you said.
Oh, God.
Damn.
Anyways.
Embrace,
but you
bro.
can I just,
damn.
You always.
See, you got me saying it.
God dog. Anyways, but you, it starts to make me feel a little insecure about answering the question, what do I do? Because I'm just I don't know. I just do me pretty much. And so in order for you to know what that is, you got to ask, who am I? And who am I?
Well, we're going to find out during this podcast who you are.
Will we?
That actually brings us to our topic for this episode, which is friendships and secrets.
Yes.
How much is too much and how much is not enough?
Here you go. Yeah. And this is,
and definitely just a great topic for Chris and I, because we experience this in our friendship quite a lot. Chris and I have a very interesting friendship in a dynamic sisterhood. And let me tell you why we're sisters, because we truly are sisters. And, it's not by blood. Here we go. I said, twice already.
It's not good.
It's not by blood, but it is by bond. And the bond that holds us together are the 2 cysts that we have. We both have cysts on our left ovaries, guys. So we are sisters by every right, and they're the same size too. Sister.
Was it a quarter or a dime?
Quarter.
Ooh. I think mine's a dime, bro. Oh, okay. I don't know. It just goes here and there.
We'll exchange our ultrasound pictures.
Yeah, we'll look at it. And that's what brings us together. That's what makes the sisters.
That's what makes the sisters. STERS. Okay. So our dynamic is very just interesting and just very fun filled, and we're truly a balance because I take it so far, and Chris doesn't take it far enough. So, you know, when we talk about friendships and secrets and what's not enough, you know, it brings me to just a recent story, a couple of stories actually that just transpire. I just feel like I'm such an open friend in person. Like I'm pretty much an open book. And here's why I'm an open book though. I'm a firm believer in this. And I was just telling our play brother about this was I don't ever want somebody to bring up my shit. You know, like I don't want it to become a time where somebody can bring something up on me. Like, no, absolutely not. Like, I believe in being an open book. So then it's like, it's no one surprised or shocked. Like, oh, damn, you know, did you hear about Mimi? And it's like, oh, you know, it's not a big deal. I think what sometimes can become shockers is when people just kind of, they try and just hide and just try and be sneaky and secretive, you know, and don't even keep it 100 all the time with the people that they call friends. Wow. You know, no shade. If you feel offended, then, you know, I mean, I'm just like, wow. But I really am. I'm a big believer in like, you know, I'm an open book so that nobody can catch me slipping, if you get my drift.
Now no one can catch you wait a minute. Let's wait before you like move on past that. Uh-huh. So have you always been this open book, or when did you learn to like embrace that and see that perspective and shift?
Oh, that's good. Mm-hmm. That's good.
Mm-hmm. No, we've been friends for like what, like 8, 9 years?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And through that whole time, I've been a lot of different seasons. Mm-hmm. I've been pretty open, though. I'm actually quite open.
Okay. Now, do you choose who you are open to, though?
Right. So it's not like it's some things that everybody doesn't and shouldn't know. Like, that's the same thing with social media and friends. And that's like a whole nother topic. But the idea of like everybody doesn't need to know all of my business. But my friends and people that I'm close with, though, it's certain levels. It's true. It's like a certain level of friendship where I value that person enough and just kind of respect that person enough that it's like, oh yeah, like this is me, and show you the authentic me, you know, not the me that people see on social media, not the me that people see at work, not the me that I show as a mother, but me, the meat of me, my you know, triflingness, my just ghetto tendencies, my mood swings, you know. Definitely. Okay, you don't gotta agree that much with me, Chris.
This is nonverbal communication. You gotta learn.
No, it's nonverbal.
I'm just taking it in.
No, receive
Who else is gonna nod?
Hello,
the audience. We can't see them.
Okay, well that's fine. Okay, they're not nodding.
Yeah.
You know, so I think I've just always been like that. But you, my friend.
Now me, my friend.
You tell me.
Anyways.
Tell me what kind of, you know, let's talk about how Chris is.
Okay.
Because then after this, then we're going to go into the story so they can really get the background of us.
I really don't.
Story time.
Okay.
Oh, yay. Story time.
Anyways, okay, so I got a couple of questions about that, but I'll kind of give a quick synopsis of my perspective on secrets and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so secrets, first of all, don't care for the word. I'm like I wouldn't call myself a secretive person, but I do feel like I'm more personal with things, and I feel like I have certain friends that I'll tell certain things to. There's certain friends that I won't tell certain things to. So if you're my friend or not, it doesn't mean you're like entitled to all the information in my life.
Wow.
Even family. Like sometimes there's certain things that I had to learn that sometimes people would tell me like, you don't have to say that much. Like I actually would talk a lot, and like over-explain things. People kind of probably say that, like, I over-explain, I give too many details. Like, sometimes she'll tell me that, bro, you don't gotta say all that. You know, that's when she's trying to get around something too, though. When she's trying to, like, you know, have you be like, it's not lying, Chris. You just tell them that. Okay. Anyways, we won't get into that. That could be a whole other topic. But, you know, there's certain things that I had to learn to be like more to keep to myself and keep more sacred. And it depends on what those things are and what category those fall into. But that also ties into like my spirituality too, where I'm just like, okay, this is just between me and God. This is just like a battle that I'm going through that doesn't really require me to like go off and like tell everybody about, because it's almost like, what would that do for me sometimes? And sometimes what it'll do is like shift a perspective that I didn't need to have, or shift into a perspective that might not be healthy for me to have to deal with that situation. Mm-hmm. So that's just my, like, it's a constant like learning experience though, because it's some things that I have to like figure out, okay, why am I not sharing this, or should I share this? Or sometimes I'll share something and be like, why did I share that? Like, you know, why did I even expose that or whatever?
Well, but I think just tagging on what you said about some things being between you and God, I would challenge that to a certain extent, because
challenge something.
I would, because this idea and past it. We missed that word though. We actually it was in the gym, so we didn't go.
Oh God! But cat's out the bag. Please stop posting Antioch when you're going to the gym, because oh Lord.
No, but he said, and I agree with this idea of just too many times where it's this idea of working through something or wrestling through something, and it's literally between you and God, but God created this relationship.
Yep.
And through this relationship, you get strengthened through with people and fellowship. So
no, that's understandable.
And it's helpful too, though, to just allow people. And I'm not saying no, absolutely not. It's some things you're right. Like you just don't have to spill on or tell. Mm-hmm. But for most of the part, I think it is important to have relationship and conversations so that people can hold you accountable, so that people can, I mean, I joke a lot and I take stuff way too far most of the time, but you know, sometimes I can come with the little wise little nuggets.
You do. That's even what I was gonna say. Like honestly, like it's times where I'll be like, oh, I'm glad we had this conversation, or like, because sometimes I'll subtly bring something up and then like you take it far, but it's like you'll take it to the place that it needs to go, and then we'll have the conversation about it, and I'll be like, and I'll be like, I really got, I'm blessed, it's a blessing.
Here we go,
there we go. It's all right. It's part of the lingo. I know. Someone count them.
And it's so important, and that's why it's so cool for us to be able to have this podcast and this platform to be able to show different views and different perspectives of, okay, this is Chris, who is more personal, like she said, and just kind of very specific about the information that she shares, and me, where it's like, look, if we're friends and if this is truly a friendship, it's almost like I'm all in. I'm either all in or I'm out, and we're, we have a very superficial friendship. But the idea is I don't have superficial friends. Like I don't have time for superficial. So if you are my friend, I am going to share with you my highs, and I'm going to share with you my lows, and I'm going to share with you my in-betweens.
You going to share with me your dumps? You going to share with me
your I share everything. Literally.
Oh my God.
Literally. We
do share some stories though. Speaking of that.
Oh man. Speaking of
Bros have
we'll share that on a later date, Chris.
Later.
But about just friendship and secrets and how far is too far and what's not enough, I always find us in moments and situations where I'm always trying to like pull more out of you, and just how far I take it. And there have been a couple of occasions where I'll call Chris and she doesn't answer, and so I'm a stalker caller. So if she doesn't answer, I'll just keep calling.
Right.
And then if she doesn't, I'll keep calling. I'll leave voicemails. I'll send like one word text messages and just keep sending the text messages until she responds. And then she'll like hit me back up like, bro, I'm talking to my dad, or like, hey, I'm in a meeting. And it's like, oh, okay, that's all you had to say to begin with. Okay. But you know, there are times where I call Chris and I'm like, oh, what are you doing? She's like, oh, you know, no, I don't know. So tell me what it is. And she's like, oh, man, you know, just about to go hang out. Go hang out with who, Chris? So it's almost like this damn guessing game of like me trying to find out what she's doing and who she's with. And you know, granted, and here's the thing. Let me tell you the thing about our friendship. This is a relationship, and I really feel like
it's a little unhealthy sometimes. Did you guys hear about the calls?
No, it's not unhealthy. Okay. This is a perfect balance. You know, I think it's really important for people to know though that one, having friends, even when you're in a relationship, is so important.
Oh yeah,
because you need to have sounding boards. Yeah. And you need to be able to have people that'll A, pray for y'all when stuff ain't going right, and B, to be there when you do not have to be up under your spouse 24/7. Truly, like it doesn't happen. No, it shouldn't happen all the time because that creates unhealthy situations. But I digress.
Yeah, we gotta talk about that though.
So back to the lesson at hand. So we have a relationship. Chris and I are a true relationship, and for me, I'm like, I want to know because I need to make sure she's safe. I need to make sure she's good in these streets. Okay. I need to know the last three digits of the license plate number and whose car that she's riding in. Lord. I need the whole
thing. No,
she don't even, now needs to cut the crap. You know,
here's the thing, okay? Because Miriam's talking a lot. Yep. But it's beautiful sometimes. Okay. Anyway, so yes. So the thing is, about when you want to get information from a friend or you're asking information, there's a certain way to go about it. And if you know that friend is going to ask you a question and then you're going to answer it, and then she's going to ask you a follow-up to that, and then a follow-up and a follow-up and a follow-up and a follow-up, and you don't got time to answer follow-ups because you're doing something, then it's probably not, you probably don't want to give that information right on the spot, because it's like, okay, sometimes I'll be like answering because I'm like, she ain't going to stop. She gonna stop calling. Let me answer. Let me give her a quick little synopsis, and then kind of like, let's go forth.
So, but since you know me, you don't think it's just easier to just get straight to the point?
It's never easy with you, Miriam.
Okay, it's always
never easy. No, it's always easy. You don't want to put that out there either.
Oh, great.
Okay, just kidding. I don't know.
No, but just since you know me, just to be able to say, yo, this is where I'm going, this is where I am, or like, yo, I'm kicking it with the homegirls. Okay, cool. What homegirls you with, girl? We with.
But that's the part. It's like sometimes I don't feel like going through the whole book of stuff, and he'd be like, okay. Especially let it be somebody she ain't never heard of. Yeah. Let it be that, and it'll be like a whole, where you meet this person? Oh, how'd y'all meet? Okay, and then you gotta hear like the extra the tones in the voice where it's like, and I'd be like, Mary, you always want to be judgy. She's like, I'm not judging. I didn't say nothing. But in it's a lot in that. There's a lot.
You know what? My okays are not loaded. They are not loaded. They're straight to the point.
They are
okay. So I personally feel like friendships and friends and sisterhoods and just especially with us women, I feel like if there is a certain level of openness that should be shared with one another. One, because we definitely share a lot, but I encounter women who are kind of still in this timid phase, or like this phase of just kind of fear of not wanting to be open enough, because then you're exposed.
Yeah, but that's what the shame thing comes from. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
And the hope is though that women are able to just stand in their truths and stand in who they are and be able to be like, okay, like, and be able to be open with women so that you can so it confirms you, and it allows you to be confident enough to say, oh, this is me to the world.
Yeah.
But, you know, first you should share me to yourself and to your sisters so that they can help, you know, confirm you and just
I
really
agree. I agree with that,
seeds.
because I'm all for transparency and like vulnerability and things like that. So I think the things that I choose not to share or expand upon in certain moments, it just literally has to do with you.
Oh, damn.
It just has to do with your responses, you know? But if it's things that I'm like, you know, in some things, well, you know what? I'm kidding, but I'll never actually put anything on anybody else, because I feel like ultimately it still all comes back to me, because it's what I feel like I want to like get into, or am I comfortable enough to share some information? Or again, is it the time where I want to share it, or do I want to take this moment in for myself and see and figure something out? Because people, you know, sometimes your girlfriends or your sisters will start asking, I don't mean to do that, but
right, I'm like, don't quotation me. Damn it, I'm not a quotation.
I know you know, bro. So she gets so sensitive and overwhelmed.
I am.
But sometimes they want information from you that you don't even have for yourself yet. Like, you haven't figured it out. Like, you haven't like processed. And then sometimes like they want to know stuff, and it's like you haven't really you haven't like figured it out for yourself. So then it kind of can put a unnecessary pressure on you, because it's like, oh, I need to figure this out, or I need to like know what this is. But I mean, a lot of times, even with you though, when it comes to like relationship stuff or like dating or whatever, it's like, you know, you don't have to, you know, bro, just kind of like just chill, like just, and you'll promote that too. But then it's like sometimes I don't even know it. That's a whole nother message. But it's like, if I'm in an exploration phase in a certain area, then it's sometimes hard to like navigate and hard to like choose what to share and when to share it and how to share it or whatever, because I'm just unclear about what it looks like. So.
I mean, and that's understandable, and the expectation is absolutely not like, don't just straight off the bat like fresh booty, like, hey Chris, what, you know, you don't have to share it like right, not fresh. I mean, I couldn't think of a good like. I know. Forget it. But I don't. The anticipation or the expectation isn't sharing straight off the bat, but the hope is that, you know, it gets to a point where it's like, yo, or like just being honest, be able to say, yo, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, like I have no clue, and it's like, oh, I heard that, like, girl, shit, I don't either, you know, like, or being able to have, because sometimes we'll drive ourselves crazy trying to process things in our heads by ourselves, because it's like you talk, it literally is, it's you're talking to yourself, trying to process it to yourself, and it just becomes like this ongoing thing of like, oh, should I don't know.
But then again, like, that's when I say, when I have those moments, that's when what works for me is just to kind of like let loose, pray about it, like just kind of like give that back, because I'll get overwhelmed regardless. Like, if I have a conversation sometimes, I mean, I'm just saying, like, just every time is different. It's not like everything's the same, but I just mean like, also just being able to know what works best for you and to see, because sometimes, not speaking on our relationship, but just sometimes people feel obligated to share certain information all the time, or and I know that actually I have been in that space where I was just like, oh, I just like I feel obligated to say something, and then people will remind me like, you don't have to explain yourself. Like, you don't have to like say this or whatever. You don't have to go there. You're putting extra stress on yourself that doesn't need to be put there. This is your information to have, and you get to choose to share it or not. And don't let anybody guilt you into not. And like, if they find out later, like, what? Well, I'm not sure. Again, it's not personal stuff, but you know, like, you know, like, why you didn't tell me, or like, you know, blah blah blah, because it's like, that was mine to keep. Sometimes it's yours to keep. But you know, at the end of the day,
and it's sometimes it is true. Like, you don't have to share every little bit of information. And to be able to have things that are yours is important, but really to be able to be vulnerable or open enough to allow someone who you're not in a romantic relationship with, to allow someone who is a true authentic friend in. And you know, I think even for women, we have that issue just in relationships sometimes, where it's like, yo, just being able to be vulnerable and open enough and allowing this person to see all the parts of you is a challenge, because it's this expectation of you're supposed to be this type of woman or this type of person, and what happens when the veil is revealed, and you are there as you know.
Yeah. No, I will say, I feel like our relationship definitely. It's weird though, because all my friends, my close friends, are like they're all out there, like they're just like candidly just themselves when it comes to certain things that I would not be candid about. But I feel like I gravitate toward that for a reason, and that has helped to bring out more of that authenticity for things that I normally wouldn't just like expose, because I'm just like, this is the reality, like sex stuff, like things that have to do with certain parts. See, I still have a hard time.
We're gonna touch on that in
that topic
podcast.
is just like is the topic though, where like what's the word I wanted to use for it? Just all topics around sex, and that's a big thing where I think a lot of women don't feel comfortable sharing like urges or just certain things because
or like, feeling
there's
like
a stigma behind it,
or like, feeling like, oh, I'm not supposed to say this, or oh, I'm not supposed to feel this way.
Exactly.
And honestly, being able to share it with a friend really does make it better when you do get into a relationship, because then you are able to, you still guard yourself to a certain, you still guard yourself to a certain extent, because you don't know what the relationship could potentially be. But once you get to a level of knowing like, this is someone who I would like to spend time with for real, and someone who I really would like to move forward with, it's easier for you to just say, this is me, because you've been able to have kind of that, that level of just expression with someone who wants nothing from you, So
I agree.
It definitely is. Like, I tell my husband, I tell him all my information, and sometimes he'd be like, okay. Shut up. Like, don't tell me that. Like, that's disgusting. Like, he just, sometimes and it's so funny, because it's like, everyone does it, everybody goes through things, but it's like, being able to be, and by him jokingly saying it doesn't bother me or make me question, like, oh damn, am I taking it too far, or how much is too much? And it's just like, no, being able to, especially with a spouse or with a significant other, like, you truly do have to be completely open, and that doesn't happen overnight. Like, it doesn't just go like, oh, when I get engaged, I'm going to tell him everything, or I'm going to tell her everything. And it's like, no, you idiot.
No,
like,
that's what I was going to say in regards to that.
Time.
Right. That's a good practice, because I do feel like, that's why I do feel like it is important to have those, like, at least a small amount, or even one person at least, but in your life, one good friend, sister, whatever, like, to be able to share that information with, because I think it's really important to have that in like a romantic relationship, to be as transparent as possible, as open as possible, as difficult as the information might be, because it's just reality. Like, as far as like even sharing things, like if you was attracted to someone, I know that can go far, but like you like, we're human, we're gonna see people, we're gonna have attraction.
I was about to say that if there's again those stigmas, and not if you don't say it or say it out loud to somebody, you be in your head thinking like, oh, I'm wrong, or oh, I'm crazy.
When everybody
thinks it. Like, yes, you can walk past somebody and say like, oh wow, that's a nice looking person.
Right.
Duh. Like, I mean, I walk around with my husband and I'm like, yo, she's beautiful.
Right.
Like, and
male, female,
like,
it don't matter.
And my husband, he says all the time, like, you be too nice sometimes, and it's like, all right, cool, I'll reel it in. But being able to have that foundation, to be able to express those feelings and those urges or those moments.
No, I think it's important. I think it's important to be able to practice as much as you can outside of a relationship, to practice like exactly what you kind of want to like pretty much to model it for when you're preparing to get into a relationship.
Right.
I know like when I got out of my long-term relationship, like having you as a friend at that time, I was like, dang, bros didn't know. Like it just felt like, all right, relationship.
I'm the boyfriend now.
it just tapped in. So it feels like that sometimes, where it's like, dang, I'm practicing these things. And so it's like being mindful of that, and not just necessarily looking at it as like, I don't know, just pretty much looking at those relationships, those friendships as more than just girl talk or just whatever, like, you know, being able to know that that's teaching you and training you up to like really, you know, get to that space, especially if you're single. So
I think we should leave you with these nuggets. Like, the hope is that one, you have a friend, at least a good friend, that you literally could share, you know, and be open with. And the funniest thing is, like, Chris and I have best friends that literally are identical in just every way. And truly, like, I've known my best friend since 3, and she knows all, like, just truly able to be open and candid 100%.
Shout out to Shannon.
You know, shout out to Shan. But to find a friend, a girlfriend, and just be able, and it's so important though, and I know that it's like, oh, you can have guy friends, but it's so important to have female friends, because it's just certain things that we get and we understand, and just the importance of being able to stick together, because so many times are we always pinned up against each other. I always jokingly say it, like, Chris and I are 2 different complexions, and to be able to have this friendship and it's authentic and not to be insecure about, you know, like, just to be able to have this is so important.
Right.
So get a friend that you have, and someone that you can just share your shit with, and, you know, that you can just kind of have somebody to unpack your stuff, or just even jokingly, like, girl, I had some gas, you know, like, anything, like, it don't always like, gotta be deep. It could just truly be like, so oh, you know, girl, you know, my phone was on private and here's why. No.
Oh God. Oh Lord, here's why.
No. All right. But truly, find a friend. And if you don't have a friend that you can trust to just be open with and authentic with, I would charge you to find new friends. Yeah, find new friends, because if they're not, if they only fuck with you when you like low, or like you trying to down somebody, or you trying to play somebody, like, that's not what you need in your life. Or somebody who's always gonna kind of knock you, that truly isn't what you need. You need a good balance of somebody who will like ride with you, right or wrong, but still tell you when you're wrong, and then still be a listening ear when you need somebody to talk to. So find a friend, find a girlfriend, find a cousin. Cousins are great friends. Even if you have a sibling, a sister, or if it's just a friendship that has lasted long, you know, remove it from the superficial level and start unchambering some of those secrets. And again, it's not like, we're not talking like deep stuff, you know, eventually it should get there, but like, even just being open enough to just be like, girl, I got into it with so-and-so. And it's like, what happened? You know, to be able to just be open, be open. And it's not going to happen overnight, but the hope is that you start to form those relationships and bonds.
Exactly, Miriam. Well said. She said it all. Oh. Very much so, and very thoroughly. And I taught her everything that she knows, so I don't need to repeat it. But, you know, it's been such a pleasure talking to you guys, and to you as well, Miriam.
Oh, likewise, Chris. And, you know, to opening up, unlocking more chambers in our friendships.
Yes.
You know, you caught me by surprise this morning. She was very open with me, and I appreciate it.
And now I caught you by surprise.
Next time,
what did I do?
Take steps. We'll talk later.
Now we're talking. Oh God. Anyways, that's the end of this episode, folks.
Yep. So be blessed.
Be blessed.
Don't be stressed.
Don't be stressed. Why would you do it?
And, you know, find a sis.
Find a sis. You know, you can go get that checked out. Yep.
All right. And we're
next time.
Yep. Till next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Later.
Okay. Bye.